In our last 3 sessions, we discussed a letter from a man whose 8-year-old son, Mark, was avoiding school because of the unkind treatment he was receiving from his teacher, Miss Green. I suggested to the father that he teach his son the reason for his teacher's behavior, and then that he practice with him some ways to respond to her unkind behaviors. Most important, he needed to give Mark his love so he wouldn't be devastated by his teacher's unkindness. Now, back to the writer of the letter. When Mark leaves the safety of your home, there are some things you could do to help him remember that you love him, so that when his teacher has one of her unkind moments in the classroom, he doesn't become afraid. It's no small thing when an adult, especially an adult in a position of absolute authority, like a teacher, becomes angry at a child. To an 8-year-old, the difference in physical size alone is frightening. And he's all alone. And she has the entire establishment of the school system behind her. It's a real mismatch. Lots of reasons to be afraid. So what can you do to help him remember your love while he's at school? When he can remember your love, he'll no longer have a strong need for his teacher's approval, and then he won't be hurt when she withholds it. First, be very clear about expressing your affection each day when he leaves for school. But more than that, actually say to him, "Now, remember, no matter what Miss Green says, I love you, and that's what matters, okay?" A second thing you could do, tell him that no matter what happens at school, you'll be there at home to talk to when he gets there. He can tell you everything that went on that day, including what Miss Green said. This is not for sympathy, just so he can talk about it, so it's not a secret, so he doesn't feel alone. Remind him that no matter what Miss Green says to him, you will be there at home to love him, and Miss Green can't take that away. Your love is bigger than anything she could ever do. Touch him and hug him as you tell him that. This is no small thing I'm saying here. Third thing, give him a small snapshot of you, or of you and him, or of you and your spouse and him, to take in his pocket with him to school. Tell him that any time his teacher becomes unkind or threatening, or if he feels the least bit nervous, he should take out the photograph and look at it as a reminder that you love him. Now, also tell him that he should do this fairly inconspicuously, because if he makes a big deal of it, the teacher will probably reprimand him for that too. Fourth thing, go for a walk and pick out, say, a rock together. Small rock. Something he sees as a token of your love for him. Something you've done together. He can keep that in his pocket, and anytime he feels threatened in class, he can reach in his pocket and touch it to be reminded of your love for him. Last, you could call the teacher or go to the school and ask her what you could do to help Mark in her class. Perhaps you could check up on his homework assignments or review with him what he's learning from a particular book. Your call will help the teacher see Mark in a more personal way, less as an object she can use to feel powerful. Tell her never to hesitate before calling you about any problem with Mark. I've made these suggestions to quite a number of parents, and many have written to say that as they have implemented these ideas, they have seen dramatic changes in the teacher involved. All of us, including teachers, want to feel like someone cares about our happiness. As you're doing all this, remember that your role is to teach Mark and love him, not rescue him. If you charge down there on your white horse in an effort to save Mark from his teacher, you'll lose. The teacher will fight you with all her energy, which in turn she'll take out on Mark, and Mark will get the impression that he has to be saved from his troubles. By teaching and loving him, however, you'll be giving him skills that will bring him a healthy kind of power that he'll enjoy all his life.